Okay, so it's time for my end of week reading vlog for what I'm calling the first half of week 1 for May, because I am technically making week 1 of May last for 10 days. So yeah, in case you're wondering, so May has, well, May began on, I believe, Friday. Yes, May began on Friday. So we got Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That's like a portion of week 1. And then we have the proper first week 1. So I'm going to call this the first half of week 1 wrap up. Before we get into what I have been reading, I have some shout outs that I want to give you guys because you guys have been super duper amazing. So I'm just going to get right into it. First of all, I want to thank Caitlin, who came to the premiere of one of my videos. I'm trying to remember which one it was. But anyway, I had a great time chatting with you over there, Caitlin. Thank you so much for joining me. It was just so much fun. Now, for those of you who don't know, I do premiere all of my videos. However, I am there live to chat with you guys for my wrap-ups and for my TBR. So if you are available when those particular videos do premiere, I'll be there to chat with you guys. I do premiere all of them, but I'm only there in the chat room for the wrap-up and the TBR, and Caitlin joined me for one of those, so thank you, Caitlin. The next shout-out that I want to give is to Mr. Jamspan. I hope I'm saying that right, Mr. Jamspan. Mr. Jamspan commented on my review of The Eyes of the Dragon. He has read this book and he liked it compared to The Stand, which is part of the Dark Tower series, and I have said that I'm going to get onto the Dark Tower series. I don't know when, but I am going to get onto them. And he also said that he's looking forward to my thoughts and feelings on those books in the series, I believe, especially including The Stand, which he says can get bogged down a little bit at times. So thank you so much for your comment there, Mr. Jamspan. I really did appreciate it. And when I do read the Dark Tower series, you'll be the first to know what I think. So if you wish to subscribe to some exclusive thoughts that are going on with me and what I think of books, you have two options. You can either email me and I can add you to the email list, or you can check out my Goodreads page where I update every single day what I'm reading and what my thoughts are, and the email link is in the description below, as well as the Goodreads link is also there as well, so you can check that out also. But thank you so much, Mr. Jamspan. I really appreciated your comment. It was amazing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. The next subscriber that I want to give a shout out to is William V, who I believe commented on my Mistborn original trilogy wrap up and my thoughts on the original trilogy. Thank you so much. William seems to love Mistborn as much as I do, so I'm going to read his comment. He said, I enjoyed your reaction very much. Thank you. I appreciate that. I too love the Mistborn series, and I love Sanderson's Stormlight Archives even more, if you can believe it. Now, I have not read anything outside of the Mistborn original trilogy aside from Steelheart, the first book in the Reckoners series, but I'm planning on reading as much of Sanderson as I can over the coming months, so I'll just slot books in here and there. I am going to get to the Stormlight Archive, but I'm not going to get to it until I have finished Mistborn, and I'm reading one Mistborn book a month. I'm up to book 4 for May, so it'll be book 5 in June, book 6 in July, so yeah, I was going to start Stormlight Archives in August. However, William went on to say something incredibly interesting. He says, there is a short story prequel to Kelsia's life that deals with his training as a Mistborn. It is in the collection Arcanum Unbounded. Oh my god, you guys. So if you saw that video that I did on the Mistborn trilogy, I was talking about how great it would be if there is a book about Kelsier, and anything about him before he met Vin would just be amazing. Specifically, I would prefer to see him in the Pits of Hassin. And this book sounds like it's more about him training as a Mistborn. But either way, a book about Kelsier before he met Vin, how amazing is this? So thank you so much, William, for that comment, because now in September, I plan on reading that one. William goes on to say, fair warning, The novel also contains a novel called Mistborn Secret History that should not be read until after the 6th Mistborn book, the final Mistborn book in the Mistborn series. This novel was only revealed once the final book in the Mistborn series was finished because it is so spoilery for all things Mistborn, like big potential to ruin your first read-through for Mistborns 1 to 6. But lots of fun once you've read them. I think it would be helpful to read Elantris as well before Mistborn, The Secret History. Happy reading. So I am umming and ahhing, William. Yes, William. I am umming and ahhing about whether or not to read Elantris. Yeah, I've been thinking a lot about it. It does sound really interesting, so we'll see how we go with that one. But I'm definitely going to read the one that you said, Arcanum Unbounded. Sounds amazing, especially if it has a Kelsier story from before he met Vin. How awesome. So a big, big shout out and big loves and hugs to Caitlin, to Mr. Jamspan, and also to William V. Thank you so much for supporting this channel and for leaving those comments. I really do appreciate it. Thank you very much. Let's move on now to the official first half of week 1's May wrap up. And let's talk about what I have been reading. Let's go. The first book that I read in the first half of week 1 was Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. You guys, I had a blast with this book. So I had a few concerns that I did not discuss in my May TBR when I was talking about rereading Harry Potter. And one of the biggest concerns I had going into this book was maybe maybe my love for this book would have waned off considering other books that I have read, such as Mistborn that we were alluding to earlier. But no, you guys, I still love this book so much, and I am going to be doing a review on it tomorrow where I'm going to be talking about my thoughts on the book, my thoughts on the film, my thoughts on both when you make a comparison. I have so much that I want to say in that review that I hope I don't run out of time. But I loved reading this book. It was so wonderful to be back in the world of Harry Potter and the world of Hogwarts, and it was just such an amazing read. I ended up giving this book 5 stars because of just how great it is. It still lives up to its name and to what I remembered it to be, if not even more so, because there are scenes in this book that do not play out in the film. One of which I did remember, which I don't want to spoil anything for anyone, so if you've read this, you'll know what I mean. If you haven't read this, you won't know what I mean. But you know the potions test? When they're on the way to procuring the thing that they're procuring at the end of the book. The potions test comes up in this book, but it's not in the film, and that really annoyed me. So I knew that was coming up, but there were other things in this book that I'd totally forgotten about that were there, and I can't wait to talk to you guys about those things. And if you've only just seen the film, it's going to be a really awesome review to say, well, by the way, just so you know, in the film this happened, but actually in the book, it kind of went more like this. And in the film, this character was here, but no, actually in the book, this character's not there, but instead that character's there, and it's just going to be a lot of fun. I absolutely enjoyed myself. And the only thing that I regretted once it was done was the fact that it was done and I had to wait, like a whole 8-9 days until I could read the second one. So good. Absolutely enjoyed the read, and it still stands up to the rating I gave it when I last read it, which was 5 years ago, of 5 stars. Really, really amazing. So the second book that I picked up in the first half of week 1 of May was The City We Became by N.K. Jemisin. Now, okay, you guys, I have done something this month that I have not done since March, and I don't feel bad about it. In fact, I feel amazing. I have DNF'd this book. Yes, I have. So for those of you who don't know what DNF stands for, it stands for Did Not Finish. This book did not, I don't like the word vibe, but I'll use it, did not vibe with me at all. From page 1, I thought, I'll give it a bit of time, but I'm already just not vibing with this at all. And I kept going. I think I read about 2 chapters of this book and then just DNF'd it because it just was not working for me. Nothing about this was intriguing me. It is an adult range book, and there is a ton of swearing that occurs over the first two chapters. Now, look, if the plot is intriguing enough, I'll forgive swearing. I'm just not someone who enjoys reading swearing. That's just me, but that's not the reason why I DNF'd it. As I said, if the plot's intriguing enough, I will keep reading the book despite the fact that it has a lot of curse words and stuff in there. But the plot just wasn't intriguing me at all. Nothing about this was grabbing my attention, and rather than, unlike in April where I forced myself to read The Lord of the Rings, rather than forcing myself to read a book that I did not love, I decided to DNF it. Now, you may love this book, and if you've read it and you do love it, please let me know what you loved about it in the comments below, and if you think I should give it a second chance. But for me, it just wasn't the book for me. The writing style is certainly easy enough to read, but the plot just wasn't interesting enough. So, fortunately or unfortunately, depending on how you view this situation, I suppose, and this book, I DNF'd this book and I will not be reading this book. What that does mean is that I am going to be making up for it at the end of this week. So I'm going to add another book onto this week, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. But The City We Became by N.K. Jemisin, it just didn't jive with me, so I ended up DNFing it and won't be reading this one anymore this month. So just a quick update, The City We Became, because I DNF'd it in any book that I do DNF, not only do I not review them, but they may or may not come up in my monthly wrap. If I do discuss books I DNF'd, it will be there. If I don't have time to discuss books I DNF'd, then I will not bring that book up again. So yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know that. Let's move back to our regular viewing. Okay, so the second book that I picked up for the first half of week 1 in May was The Hunger Games by Susan Collins. Now, you guys, I did not at all feel guilty with DNFing The City We Became, but once I started reading The Hunger Games, I felt even better about my decision to DNF The City We Became, because this book, I'm enjoying this book so much that I actually went over the allotted amount of pages that I set for myself to read yesterday because it was just so good. So I am about there. So not that far in, but more than I thought. So I'm actually up to page 138, and I started this book only yesterday. So that's what I mean. I got through 138 pages before I ended up saying, I really should put this down because I'm reading way too much. But it's just so amazing. Again, I don't want to give away spoilers, but I'll just quickly say some non-spoilery things. The protagonist, whose name is Katniss, is so amazing. I love everything about who she is. She's a very strong, independent female. You guys know that I love those types of characters. And so, yeah, I think you guys know the premise in that there is a lottery that's done each time the Hunger Games comes around, and Katniss was not drawn out of the lottery, but her sister was. Katniss, however, volunteered to take her place. Basically, the setup of the Hunger Games is that there are 2 children from each district that are chosen, 1 male, 1 female, or 2 children. I think it ends at the age of 18. You're no longer eligible after you turn 18 or after you turn 19, something like that. So 2 children are chosen, 1 male, 1 female from every district. There are 12 districts, and they basically go into this locked-in area where it is a fight to the death. Yeah, I don't like the idea. I would not like to live in this world, but reading it has been really, really intriguing. And yeah, I'm not even in the arena yet. We haven't gotten there. I've gotten through her doing interviews and her having to wear a costume to celebrate her district, and her the guy that was also drawn with her to be a part of the Hunger Games doing some training, and I have loved that, but I haven't even gotten into the arena, and I'm just already enjoying this book so much. If I end up absolutely loving this book, which if it continues going the way that it is, then I will definitely read the second book, which I don't know what it's called, but the second book in the Hunger Games series in June. I've just had so much fun with this book. It's been absolutely amazing, and I'll let you know how I go with this as we move on. So I just quickly wanted to jump in here to quickly talk about Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. And because with the Hunger Games, I spoke to you about how I love Katniss because she's a strong, independent female character. A lot of people have asked me with Harry Potter, since I am like a massive Harry Potter fan, in case you didn't know already. A lot of people have asked me who my favourite character is in this series, and without a doubt, I always tell them Hermione Granger. Now, a lot of people find Hermione to be very stuck up, and especially to be very stuck up in book one, but I just always loved her. In case you were wondering if you love Harry Potter, yes, I've been on Pottermore, and I was sorted into the house that I was always meant to be a part of, which was not Gryffindor, but Ravenclaw. And as you may or may not know, Hermione may have ended up in Ravenclaw at one stage when she has the Sorting Hat on her head. The Sorting Hat is debating whether or not to put her in Ravenclaw or Gryffindor, and ends up putting her in Gryffindor. But yeah, I just love how smart and independent she is, and she's my favourite character. So a lot of people have asked that, and so I just thought I would place that in right there. Let's move back to our regular programming. Okay, so because of the fact that I DNF'd The City We Became, and I'm planning on reading 3 books a week, I needed to add a book that I was going to, a third book that I'm going to be reading this week. What I ended up doing, I'm now, instead of reading 13 books, because I've DNF'd The City We Became, I'm going to read 12, but if I have more time, I'll add a 13th one at the end. I've ended up just moving everything up a week, so the first book that I was going to read in week 2 is now going to become the final book that I read in week 1, and the second book that I was going to read in week 2 will now become the first book that I read in week 2, and so on and so forth. Now, in week 2 or 3, one of them, I already planned to read 4 books, so it was just a little bit of shuffling to ensure that there'll be 3 books in each week. Therefore, if you did watch my May TBR, you'll know what I am going to be reading third in week 1, and that is this book, The Elite by Kiera Cass. So this is the second book in the selection series. I love this series so much, and I was talking to my mum and my sister about how much I love this series, and it's actually thanks to my mother and my sister that they both purchased me. My mum purchased me book 2, my sister purchased for me, I have it on me, book 3. So I'm going to read book 2 once I finish the Hunger Games, and then next month I will read book 3, which is The One. So I've got it in my June TBR section, which I start doing, working on my next month's TBR very early, so I already have 2 books in that area, and you've already seen one of those books I'm going to read. So there you go. So yes, I will move on to the Elite once I have finished the Hunger Games. So in case you wanted to buddy read with me, let's have a quick discussion on where I'm going to be at, going through the remainder of week 1, which will be the full 7 days from tomorrow being Monday all the way through to our wrap up at the end of the week, Sunday next week. Okay, so tomorrow I'm going to be doing my review of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, so you can look out for that. It's going to be so much fun. I hope I don't run out of time. I have so much to say, but so many good things to say about this book. Between now and Thursday, I'm going to be continuing on with the Hunger Games, and then most likely on Thursday night, I will watch the Hunger Games film. My niece, who is staying with us, absolutely loves Hunger Games, so she's going to be watching it with me, and we're going to have a great time, so that's going to most likely happen on Thursday. Then Friday to Sunday, I'll be reading The Elite and finishing it off that way. So really excited to discuss all of these books with you. Really excited to keep going with this one and to get into this one. So it's just been an awesome week. So these are the books that I have picked up this week. 5 stars, DNF'd, and still currently reading. These are the books I'm going to be reading for all of next week, starting Monday all the way through to next Sunday. Will be this one until Thursday, and then this one from Thursday all the way through to Sunday. So yeah, May is my birthday month, and I have to say I chose books that I thought I would absolutely love. With The City We Became, this was a complimentary book that was added into the box of books that I ordered from my local bookstore, and so I thought I would give it a go. I knew nothing about it, so I'm not too disappointed that I DNF'd this book, but I have the feeling that I'll love all the other books, and so it's not surprising that I loved this. I'm loving this, and I'm sure I'm going to love this because I loved book one. So there we go. I'm going to leave that there and let you guys go. Peace, blessings, and so much love. If you have any comments, thoughts, and or questions, please do not hesitate to let me know in the comment section below. Until then, I post videos every Monday, Thursday, and Sunday, with reviews going up on Monday, midweek vlog going up on Thursday, and end of week vlogs going up on Sundays. Until then, mwah, happy reading. Bye guys. Bye.